Welcome back once more to SwitchStars. My name's Luke, and today I have a royal treat for you all, as once again we're playing a spot of keyword bingo and taking a look at World War Battle Heroes Field Armies Call of Prison Duty Simulator on the Nintendo Switch. Now, you'd be mistaken for thinking that this is another Midnight Works or Instagame and marketing game, but in fact this one and several other games I'll be covering on the channel come to us from a new publisher, that being VG Games. However, I do have a strong suspicion that good old Midnight Works have once more decided to branch out and create yet another publishing team to inject even more of their shitty games onto the eShop, and once more Nintendo are quite content with letting it happen. But let us put that aside for the moment and take a look at what the game has to offer, as you never know, the screenshots and description could be legit for a change. So hit that like button, subscribe for more Nintendo Switch reviews and content, and let's get into it. So upon loading the game, you're presented with what is undoubtedly the most boring main menu in existence, and then you have the option to either start a new game or continue. Proceeding on, you get a snazzy little pan of the globe and then get to select your mission, which begins with a tutorial. And it's worth noting that the load screen in this game features an image stolen directly from Call of Duty World War II, which I took it up on myself to report to Activision for copyright infringement. Anyway, beginning the tutorial, we find ourselves playing as this bald fella who appears to have dolled himself up a tad with some white guy liner, and after running through the on-screen prompts to learn how to run around and checking out my inventory, I went to have a bit of an explore, at which point the tutorial promptly ended, so straight into the first mission it was then. Now, the game features 5 missions in total, and each comes with a little bit of a story to it. In the first mission, we find out that we're the best general and soldier of the army and have been sent out to the Western Front to achieve victory, and further missions see us on one-man expeditions to take out enemy fuel tanks, assassinate generals and destroy artillery outposts. But in truth the storyline is non-existent, and after the final mission the game just ends, so in short it's completely pointless. Heading into our first mission though, as the level loads, and it takes quite a while, we get some erratic camera movements as it pans across the battlefield, flips upside down and generally just goes a bit apeshit before we once again find ourselves in the tutorial area. After equipping our weapon and some medkits from our inventory, which it should be noted is slow as turtle shit and must be done every single time you start a level, we can then proceed onward following the red flags to find our way to the objective, and from what I can tell the game features one large level which is used for every mission, with you starting from different locations with invisible barriers stopping you from just making your way directly to the end point. The sheer scale of these levels though means that 90% of your playtime will be spent just running from one flag to the next, wandering up and down across barren terrain and through abandoned towns, and contrary to the game's description which states a variety of locations will allow your eyes not to get bored, your eyes will get very bored indeed along with the rest of your body, and your brain might just shut down entirely. So be warned, you could end up in a boredom-induced coma by playing this one. Now, so far as the combat goes, along the way you'll encounter pockets of enemies which usually spawn out of thin air and begin attacking you before you've even seen them, and on a couple of occasions you'll be fighting alongside teammates. But for the most part the encounters are few and far between, and even when you do get to do some shooting you'll instantly regret it, as the enemy AI is absolutely fucking atrocious. More often than not, they'll get stuck behind obstacles or just completely ignore your existence, but even when they do decide to shoot at you, providing you're on the move, it's very unlikely that they'll even hit you. So there's absolutely no challenge to these encounters, and you're better off just avoiding them. If you do decide to partake in a bit of action though, you're in for a real nice dose of disappointment. At your disposal you have a pistol and assault rifle, which are both utterly underwhelming, especially when the enemies die and play out a stock death animation. You also have some grenades, which are most fun when your own teammates run in front of them and get blown up, and if for some reason you find yourself without ammo you can always resort to a bit of fisticuffs, though I don't even think this actually works. Scattered throughout levels you'll find plenty of ammo and health packs, and killing enemies also rewards you with cash which can be spent at in-game shops, which look nothing like shops and are in fact just empty buildings, but here you can buy additional grenades, health packs and a variety of weapons, all of which are just as shit as each other. One final feature which is well worth mentioning is the lock-on system, which is pretty much an aimbot mechanic and sees you snapping your spinal column as you instantly target nearby enemies, mowing them down one after another. And as the eShop description says, this is for the most insane players in the game. But to be honest, you've got to be fucking insane to want to play this game in the first place, so don't worry about that one. Now there's very little else to say about this one. Levels are generic romps across no man's land as you move from flag to flag, mowing down what little enemies you find in your path, and after reaching the endpoint you're usually treated to a bit of a fireworks display before being kicked back to the main menu. The one exception to this is at the end of the second mission, which has you assassinating an enemy general, when out of fucking nowhere your guy transforms into John Wick and starts popping Nazis left, right and centre, and this shortcut scene was undoubtedly the highlight of the game for me. The rest of this shit show is exactly that, a shit show, and I'd go so far as saying this is the worst third person shooter I've ever played, and the worst World War II shooter I've ever played, or just World War. So congrats Midnight Works, you guys can at least be proud to have earned those titles. Now before we end this review, let's just take a look at that eShop listing to gauge exactly how much bullshit has been spouted with this one. And right from the first line we're hit with a shite encrusted uppercut to the jaw as we're told that we'll get acquainted with the hardships faced by soldiers in the World War. Next we get a bit of spiel about the mission types and weapons, which is all pretty kosher, but then we have the bored eyes bollocks, and at the bottom of the description we get peculiarities, which the dictionary defines as a strange or unusual feature. Well, they're right on that one, because what's strange about these features is that none of them actually exist in the game. Beautiful graphics, you're having a fucking laugh, aren't you? Extreme gameplay, I've taken more extreme shits after a night out on the ale. Interesting story, yeah, about as interesting as watching paint dry whilst listening to white noise. Huge locations, well this is semi-truthful, though about the only thing that this adds is minutes to the load times and excessive amounts of walking. And finally, realistic elements. Once again though, we have a nice selection of fake screenshots included to just really drive home that scam and sucker in as many people as possible. So if you're watching this review, heed my words and don't buy this bag of dicks, or any of Midnight Works' other games for that matter. And if you wanted to know a little bit more about them or the games that they've published, be sure to watch my dedicated video of them, linked down in the description box below. With that said though, I do hope that you enjoyed this review, and even if you hated it, I guarantee you that it's more enjoyable than playing through the game itself, but let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. As always, show your appreciation by dropping a like, subscribe for future reviews and other Switch related content, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.